Alright guys, welcome back. So in the last video you saw me riding this Phantom 85 kit and it went way too fast. The clutch engagement speed was about 22 miles an hour. Top speed that I was willing to do was about 45. So clearly this engine has a higher RPM range. So in order to get a decent like cruising speed at the bottom for clutch engagement so I can ride it around town, I am going to re-gear the bike today. So I'll flip around the camera and show you what we're working with. And we also have Walter with us today. Hi buddy! Okay, cool. Anyway, so this is what we got for our sprocket right now. This is a stock 44 tooth rag joint. Now somewhere back in 2014 I had a different sprocket which was lower top speed, and I think that still resides up here in the parts pile somewhere. So I'm gonna try to find that so I can swap it over. Then also I might use this 24-inch rear wheel instead as well to get even lower gearing, but we'll see what happens. So time to start searching for parts. Alright, so new plan. I looked, and out of all my sprockets I have 3 of them and they're all 44s. So I am going to go up into the attic and take a 20-inch wheel off of a BMX bike and try to fit that somehow, which would be a pretty aggressive gear change. Should bring the top speed down from 45 to 34, which is slightly better than switching to the biggest sprocket you can buy, which is a 54. So we're going to go with that, and hopefully I can finagle a way to get most of the bolts on the sprocket to line up through the spokes of the 20-inch, which fingers crossed on that one. But I'll check back in with you once I have the 20-inch pulled out of the attic. Alright, we have the 20-inch wheel here. I measured with the calipers the width of the hub, and it's within 5 millimeters of that bike there. So we should be able to space it out with a nut or some washers and it'll work just fine. Tread has seen better days. I have some more tread, or some tires with better tread, up in the attic, so I can do that. But first, let's just put some air in it and see if it holds before I get too far down this road. And then we'll try to swap over a sprocket and see how many of the 9 holes line up here. Alright, so this tire holds air, which is awesome, so it means I don't have to buy a tube. So I have this 700C wheel, which, by the way, not a great motorized bike wheel. Gets bent pretty easy. I am going to try to swap this standard 44 tooth sprocket over to this 20-inch. Usually you'd want to use a hub adapter because there's only 3 holes that you have to line up through the sprocket instead of 9. But I don't have one at the moment, so we're going to try the rag joint. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll check back in with you guys if I get it swapped over. Okay, so I got this sprocket off, and looking at this wheel, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 busted spokes on this side, and a couple more that were close. So I think that was due to using undersized hardware and there being some play in here. Some of these are a little bent. So I think I'm going to run over to the gas station and get some beefier hardware so I don't run into the same issue on this wheel. Alright, I'm back from the gas station. I got 9 of these 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch long hex bolts with lock nuts on the end. So that'll work great for the sprocket and rag joint setup. So I'm just going to go ahead and zip this on with the drill real quick, and then do the star pattern when I torque them down. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that quick, and hopefully we get most of the 9 bolts on. Alright, and there we have it. 20-inch wheel with a 44 tooth standard rate joint sprocket, and 1.5 ended up being the perfect length. Obviously, I was only able to get 6 in there because of the way the spokes lined up with the holes. And you are taking a risk if you run fewer than the 9. It could potentially damage spokes, but I figured it was better to have fewer in this case than stretching the 3 spokes, or 6, that they would have pushed against, and in this case, right where they cross. So yeah, 6 should be good enough for what I'm doing. Wouldn't recommend it, but that's what we got going on today. So yeah, now that I have that taken care of, I am going to try find a better tire that doesn't have so many flat spots in it, and then we'll get that swapped over. Okay, I swapped over the front tire from the same bicycle that I'm using for parts, and as you can see, no flat spots. Awesome. Alrighty, so I'm going to go over and get this swapped onto the bicycle. Okay, so I got the rear wheel lined up. It's looking pretty sick. This is kind of like a dirt bike where it has a much smaller rear tire. I wonder if that's why. Anyway, the derailleur is not happy with this new sprocket, as you can see. So, yeah, it's just kind of jumping around. Ooh, can't really do that with one hand without pushing it off here. But basically, it's skipping right here on the beginning of the sprocket. And I have it lined up as much as I can from left to right, so it's an up and down. Well, actually forward and aft on this, and there's no adjustment for that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off the derailleur for the time being, and just run the chain straight back. Okay, so I took out a few links of chain here, and it's attached now and not falling off. It's not perfect, but at least it won't break and fall off and jam up in the spokes. So yeah, brakes, that's something that'll eventually need to be addressed, because obviously those don't reach anymore. For now, I'm going to hook up this sprocket to the motor and see if I can get the tensioner in a position where it still does what it needs to do and doesn't rub on the tire. Okay, so I got everything hooked up, tensioners on. Our engine side sprocket and chain, that's a little chunky. It looks like from the top down that we have an alignment issue. Yes, we most certainly do. So I am going to move this spacer to this side of the axle, see if we can resolve that problem without causing an alignment issue on the pedal side. But if we have an alignment issue, I'd much rather have it be on the pedal side than the motor side. Okay, so yeah, you can't see the bike yet, but this thing just looks so sick with this small rear tire. It totally changed the dynamic of the bike. I'm digging it 100% here. So yeah, I'll flip the camera around and show you. Yeah, check that out. Oh my god, that is just so awesome. Super big front tire, tiny rear tire. Oh man, it's legit. It's gonna be even better when we get it out in the sunlight. But yeah, I do need to figure out something with the brakes because I have a dual pole lever. I cannot clamp onto the front brakes without it also clamping onto the rear. So I essentially have 0 brakes at the moment. So I need to figure out something with that, at least for a test drive. But yeah, I'm super stoked about this. Okay, so the brakes, I ended up just doing a single lever for the time being because, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of re-engineering to get this anywhere close to the rear tire. I am used to using one front brake, Definitely would not recommend it because it's pretty easy to lock it up and then go whoop, right over the handlebars. So, uh, not the safest thing in the world if you're not used to that setup. But it should stop a lot better now uh, than it was with absolutely nothing attached in the rear with the link brakes. So I'm going to throw the helmet on and we'll go for a leisurely ride and see how this thing does. Ooh, that gear ratio is not great for the pedals. Looks like we need a little more speed. Ooh, almost. Try half joke. Alright, try this again. Okay. Definitely a lower engagement speed. Wait for it to warm up a little bit. Damn, this thing is loud. Well, this is a lot more doable. The seat vibrates absolutely terribly with the increased RPM. Tell this is not a well-balanced crank. Brakes are actually way better than they were before, even when they were linked and functional. So that's a win. Oh yeah, this is way more manageable. Very buzzy though. Be careful on the gravel. It actually gripped pretty damn well with that BMX tire. Woo! Hell yeah! Man, this thing just goes. Yeah, that tire really helped the gearing a lot. See if we can get it up this. Oh, like nothing. Alright, let's go try out our hill climbs from before. Oh, the clutch engagement speed is so much better. I dropped it like probably 8 or 9 miles an hour, maybe 10. It's so much better for in-town cruising. But it's still just, I mean, it's still really good. Like, it's just always wanting to go and wanting to make you give it a little more, just saying it. Just like that. Yeah, this is a much better gear ratio. I thought it would be kind of like scary with this gear ratio and maybe be like a nasty wheelie machine or something, but actually I'm sitting like 3 inches lower to the ground, which is better for my height on this bike, and it just feels more stable, honestly. The bike turns in a lot better. I mean, it's just a lot better of a machine and a better riding experience with that small rear wheel. And that's probably why motorcycles have smaller rear wheels than front wheels. Oh yeah. Don't even have to pedal from a stop. Very buzzy though. Very buzzy. But yeah, it is
It's surprisingly good. I mean, it fixed the problem. Before it was unrideable, now it is rideable. It has made it tamer. It is not like wanting to come up every second. Like before, like just bump starting it and it was like holy hell out of the gates. And now it's in its power band where it should be to run properly. So Alright. Oh man. The vibrations though are killer. Because clearly we've definitely upped our RPM by doing this gear change with going the same speed, so that's just part of the deal. If this was a well-balanced motor, this would be a really fun thing. Alright. Man, I can't believe how much better one brake is and that works instead of two shitty ones. Kind of hard to believe. I mean, it's still not great, but I mean, it at least comes to a stop when I need it to now, so that's a plus. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah. Just an absolute champ. This thing's almost a dirt bike at this point. Dirt bike without any rear suspension. Big asterisk there. Your legs are the rear suspension. Alright, try to keep my head up straight so you can see what's going on here. While also watching the ground. Oh. It's been a couple of weeks. I don't know if I can see my lines anymore. Oh, there they are. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, all the way to the top. Woo! All the way to the top, no problem whatsoever. Man, that's awesome. Oh, still a little out of breath, but yeah, made it all the way to the top, no problems. Man, that's so sick. I just love that rear wheel. That is the way to do it. The small rear wheel fixes everything. Alrighty, I think we're gonna call that a day. I'll ride back home and finish up this video. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on this Phantom 85 that I'm riding, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys next time.